All right, so this is the demonstration on how to start your shattered value drawing, as well as a few other tips in creating it. All right, so I'm starting with my little drawing over here on my laptop next to me. I've got this little picture of a head of a cat, so I'm just going to start with the outside lines of the head, because if I can look at it, it's got, eyes that are floating in the middle. It has some other details as well. All right, so I got my pretty decent little cat. Now, what I will do is I will come back in here and I'm going to connect these lines. I'm going to go ahead and connect that one just for the heck of it. Okay, so that these are all shapes that are totally connected. Kind of like if you're using Autodesk Sketchbook and you're using the fill tool, if you went to fill it and it was broken, it would like bleed out and it wouldn't really work. So make sure those are kind of all connected like so. So once you have yours done, and I've said to make sure that yours is a little bit bigger than your hand, and I'm about right. I could have made it a little bit bigger, and it's a little bit to one side of the page, but it's not too bad. But pretty much try to get it in the center, like larger than your hand size. So now what I need to do is I need to come in, and I need to draw some curved lines across my paper, and you're going to do about 6 or 8 of them. So that's plenty. Now, on your drawing, yours is going to be much smaller than mine. I have an entire sheet of paper. You're only going to be doing half this much shading. So now what we have to do next is you're going to be shading and creating gradual value changes on each one inside every single little shape that's in there. Like this is a shape, this is a shape, this is a shape, this is a shape, this is a shape here, this is a shape there. So to do that, I'm going to start out with some sort of smallish shapes to show you how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to start right here. So I'm going to create a gradual value scale. So good. So really try your hardest to get some really good value changes throughout the whole thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and do mine here. And then, you want to start letting up about halfway in. And now I'm going to have to kind of go back and fill this in a little bit. And I'm going to make sure that's all filled in. And I'm going to make this a little darker. And then I'm going to bring my value out a little bit more. So I'm just layering it back out. And bring that out a little bit more in here. Bring that a little bit more in here, because I want that really to be gradual. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now we're just going to rotate our paper, and I say rotate the paper because I like to make marks in a very specific way, and if I'm having to like move my hand around, that kind of makes me a little nuts. So like when I have you guys use Sharpies, it'll be sort of gradual. So I like to sort of pull. So however you're most comfortable, we want to keep that going. Because this gets repetitive, and one thing you can do also is once you really start going with your value and all these are sort of dark and light, you can take a piece of paper and you can hold it over it, and that way you're not smudging up your drawing and getting your hand all totally dirty, and you can just do that one little section. Okay, so now let's see, I'm going to turn it like this. So I'm going to turn it like this, and I'm going to actually go from dark to light this way. And what you're trying to do is you want to make sure that this area here is next to an area here that's different in value, as far different in value as you can. So if I go from dark here to light here, it's going to be really light right here. So really, it's going to be pretty different from all these values until it hits right up into here, because really light all the way up into here, we got really darks, dark mediums, mediums, and then the light's only right there. So I'm going to go ahead and go this way. Okay, but I can still see that line there. Okay, that's what I'm going for, because if you go from dark to light and then dark to light here, those whole shapes, they sort of disappear and you don't get the shattered effect, which is the kind of the cool effect. Okay, and then I'm just going to rotate it again. So I'm going to maybe rotate it, and I'm going to go dark to light this way. You know, the more times I rotate it, and I'm going to change it pretty quickly. Okay, but again, I've got this, you can see that line in here because of the value difference between this section here and this section here. Okay, and I'm just going to go do the exact same thing over the entire drawing. And again, make sure that you kind of go back in, let up on that, fill in those little spots. If you're having trouble with your gradual value changes and you're having trouble getting a light value, you know, you can go back and you can hold the pencil back closer to the eraser, and that way it's harder to make a darker value than if you've got it like down in here. Okay, like I was pressing pretty hard there and I still got a pretty light value. So if you're getting to like this area in here and you're like, Mr. Davis, I can't get any lighter than that, you know, bring your hand back on your pencil, and then you can do some really, really light marks like rather easily. Okay, until you get really good at being able to like hold the pencil firmly with control, but letting up and knowing there's difference between this and this, so that you're not doing the whole thing all the